What's up, guys, and welcome to the Quick Diz Takes podcast special episode. As you guys know, we have been doing a series where we've been having different people from different Disney podcasts or just different Disney contributors in general from social media, YouTube, things of that nature on the show. And I happened to cross this gentleman's channel not too long ago. Actually, my mom she teaches country line dance, and she was searching for different variations of Disney songs that she could use for a playlist. She wanted to do a Disney themed, lesson or class or whatever she calls it. I happened upon this gentleman's YouTube channel, Disney Song Blog, and I listened to it, a lot of it, almost all of it, I think. I don't know. I was like, I'm gonna reach out to this guy. I'm gonna ask him if he's gonna come on my podcast and talk about what he does, because I enjoyed it. I myself, a former musician, love acoustic renditions of anything for the most part. He does acoustic renditions of Disney songs. He does acoustic renditions of Disney songs, Disney attraction songs, which I thought was very unique. His name is Grady Nichols. Thank you, Grady, for coming on the show.
Yeah, man, absolutely. I appreciate you asking me to be on. That's an incredible, you hadn't told me about your mom searching for songs for her class. That's pretty cool. It's so weird how people find different things online, especially in the Disney community, because there's so much out there. So yeah, that's really, really neat to hear. So thanks for having me.
Oh, absolutely.
As you know, the Disney community, the Disney online community, there's so much out there, which is great because it gives us all an opportunity to, have some entertainment, some things to listen to, that kind of stuff. I was trying to do something a little different. I hadn't seen anybody doing attraction songs really in any kind of way other than just playing them instrumentally. And even then, it's hard to find folks who are covering attraction songs. I figured, what the heck? I love this stuff, and I like to play and sing, and we'll see what happens. That's really kind of where it started. It's called the Disney Song Blog, which is really probably a horrible name because my intention was to, I really wanted to learn more about the songs because I knew all these songs from, popular old attractions and stuff, but I wanted to learn about them and kind of the history behind them. And I thought, I'll just write these blog posts about the background on all these songs. And that was my intention at first. And I've done that to some extent, but it's kind of waned and more become just something that I just post the songs. But either way, it's still been a blast.
Yeah, and I think, like I said, for me, and I think a lot of diehards, that the attraction songs are kind of a trip, in the sense of you just don't hear them that often. And obviously, the Disney park fans, let's face it, we love the attraction songs.
Yeah.
We're a community of nerds, really. When it comes to that stuff, we love that stuff. I actually just had a gentleman on, Steve Barth, a couple of days ago, and we were talking about it, and we were laughing because, I'm 40 years old, middle-aged guy, and I always get once in a while from people that have known me but may not know about this. And when they find out about this, they're like, so right. You have a Disney podcast, huh?
Yeah,
As
really.
if it's completely out of this world. I love Disney since I can ever remember, but I never realized that there was a bunch of other people that had thoughts and opinions of the same, I did about Disney. I didn't know how to put this. Obviously there are other people that like Disney parks. People go to Disney. I get that, but I didn't know there was a lot of people that wanted to share. That wanted to talk about what they like when they go there, or the music, right. Or you know what I mean?
Yeah, totally. Yeah, that's kind of how it was for me. I grew up going to Walt Disney World. Being from North Carolina, I'm an East Coaster, so I'm actually 40 as well. So born in '80, and we went several times throughout my childhood for various reasons. Whether it was for one of my dad's friends had conventions down there, we'd tag along, that kind of stuff. And then I had a big gap in my trips down to Disney World after I started when I went off to college and stuff like that. It just kind of became something that wasn't part of my life anymore. And then all of a sudden, when I got just a little bit later, started running into some of these podcasts and blogs and stuff. And like you said, it was like, what in the world? People are into this stuff, and it was just crazy that it started just triggering all these memories of parks for me, all the nostalgia of it all. And it was just like, man, it was so crazy to see that there was such a big community surrounding this thing. Disney has a big community, a macro of all these things, but then you get to the theme park folks, and it's huge too, which is crazy. But it's awesome because it's been so much fun to connect with so many people. Like just right now, I mean, connecting with you, connecting with folks on Twitter and Instagram and stuff like that. I mean, who would have thought that love and attraction at Disney World would connect you and you make friends through it? But it's the world we live in today.
I guess first of all, when did you start becoming a musician? When was it at a young age or?
So I got my guitar when I'd say I was probably 12 or 13 years old. And before then, I'd grown up singing at church and stuff like that. And I actually played the violin when I was a kid. I played something called Suzuki Violin. I don't know if you've ever heard of that.
I don't know.
It's a specific way of learning the violin. It's classical music. And I liked the violin, but I didn't really love it. Well, I was one of those kids that was like, I was having to be pushed to practice and that kind of thing. But when I got a guitar in middle school, I quickly found that having learned the violin and the theory behind it and stuff, it was really helpful for me in my ear when I got my guitar. And I've always been just kind of self-taught on the guitar, so I'm not real technical and I'm not real, there's a lot of things I don't know about it, but I do love to play it and sing. So I've been playing since I was in middle school and just fell in love with acoustic music. James Taylor is one of my big top folks. So that style of music has always been kind of present in my life. And so been playing all that time. And then, the Disney stuff, I never really even had on my radar when it came to music, other than just being a fan of Disney, the music from the films and television, that kind of stuff. But when it came to like melding that world into the world of what I played and stuff, they were completely separate until a few years ago, just because I didn't even think about it, because it's kind of counterintuitive in a way when you think about an acoustic guitar and something like It's a Small World. It doesn't really match at first glance. So yeah.
So I guess you mentioned James Taylor.
Yeah.
What other musicians would you say kind of influenced, or did you kind of drift to with
Sure.
acoustic music?
Yeah, totally. So James Taylor, so my cousin, her name is Lisa. She is about 10 years older than me, and she was a guitar player, acoustic guitar player. And so that was one of the reasons I wanted a guitar, because I love my cousin. I always looked up to her, and she was a huge James Taylor fan. So that really kind of just got me going, his style. And then I kind of branched out into folks like Van Morrison, I got into a classic rock phase and some like a 90s country phase, but really that kind of stuff. But that was kind of a sidetrack away from stuff like Van Morrison, Crosby, Stills and Nash, that type of stuff. And then now I just love, I don't know how you label stuff like indie rock or whatever it is, but there's bands like, there's a band called Dolls that has a real acoustic sound to them that I love. All that kind of stuff just keeps me at it. It kind of inspires me to want to keep playing. But yeah, those are kind of some of the folks. And now that you're asking me, I can't even think of, there's a gazillion others, but off the top of my head.
When you do Listen to the Land, for example,
sure,
you didn't know all the words of that song before you decided to learn it, right?
No. So, well, it's funny that you asked that, because sometimes I'll play out around town and stuff at restaurants and things. I am known as being notoriously as being bad at memorizing lyrics to songs in general. So I always have an iPad or lyrics in front of me, because I just can't remember them because there's so many. And so no, I did not know the lyrics. It's funny, Listen to the Land, I did know a few of them just because I love that song. And you ask about influences, and the guy who wrote and sings that song, Bob Moline, is very much in that vein of James Taylor anyway, so it fits right in. But back to the lyrics thing, like I always have lyrics in front of me, because when someone says, hey, play that song that, whether it's a Disney song or a James Taylor song or whatever it is, I'll start it and then I'll get through that first verse. I always have the first verse and the chorus. And then it comes time for the second verse, or third verse, and I just cannot remember it. So no, I didn't know the lyrics to the songs when I sit down to do them. I have to kind of look them up, or if they're not online, I've got to listen to it and try to figure them out, because most of them you can find online, but they're not always accurate, because it's typically somebody, that's listened to it and they're typing it up online. So I have to kind of listen and make sure. And who knows? Half the stuff I'm saying might not be the actual right lyrics. So hopefully.
I don't think I don't even know how many, I'm sure a lot of the hardcores do. Of course, they always do. But I bet you a lot of people don't even realize that attraction at one time wasn't even living with the land.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny when I first said, "Hey, I think I'm going to do something," which I don't even know what that means. Hey, I'm going to do something. I just
Yeah.
kind of was like, and I used YouTube because I didn't know where else to put these songs. Most I just didn't know how to like where to land them. So that's why I used YouTube, and I said, I gotta figure this out because I don't, I have a lot of friends who follow me, in my extended friend group, friends of friends who aren't Disney people, so to speak. And they follow me just because they're being nice or know me. And they're like thinking that it's going to be songs like A Whole New World or, something from the Aladdin or Little Mermaid or something like that. And then they get on there and they're like, what in the world are these songs? I mean, they have no idea what it is, which has been fun too, because it gets them kind of curious. But my original intent was to do older stuff and particularly songs that maybe aren't even in the parks anymore, just because for me, that's what it's all about is the memories and triggering that nostalgia. But yeah, I mean, there was a time when you rode Listen to the Land, not Living with the Land, where you have obviously a cast member up there talking you through it, but that song would play too, and so yeah, it's fun because I have people go, I can't believe this. I haven't heard this song in years, because maybe they haven't even been to the park in years, but they remember that ride for some reason. So anyway, yeah, it's kind of fun to trigger memories for people as well.
Yeah, Living with the Land, Listening with the Land is, I think, an underrated attraction at Epcot. First of all, I actually have a video. I haven't released it yet, but spoiler alert: I have a video coming out on my channel about how I like to argue that it's Epcot's hidden gem, really. Now, a lot of people may disagree because I don't know. I guess learning about that kind of stuff just doesn't interest them, but I think most people can kind of their interests can be a little bit, or curiosity at least can be a little bit piqued with that attraction. I just think with that song, it was just a better attraction when you had that song, and you had mentioned the tour guide as well. And unfortunately, the darker side of Disney sometimes, it comes down to money, and you lose those types of things.
Yeah, it's true.
Unfortunately, and
it's true.
So that you mentioned that, I just wanted to say that I think that it lost a little bit with that, kind of like a Great Movie Ride did, or Jungle Cruise might even be doing now. They're talking about. I don't know.
Oh, don't say it.
I know. We'll see.
It's hard to remember sometimes as someone who's like a Disney nerd or whatever you want to call it. We're plugged in and we're always, steeped in Disney stuff. It's hard to remember that the majority of the people who go to Disney World or Disneyland don't know all this stuff, and so an attraction like that can get overlooked by folks because they're going to these big headliners that are popular or more recent, and something like that really taps in, or is one of the last vestiges of what Epcot Center really was,
Yeah. Yes.
So it taps into that.
Yes.
And so if you want to say to somebody, if they say, what was Epcot like in the 80s? You say, go ride Living with the Land, because that's about as close as you're going to get to what all the other pavilions were. So gosh, I hope it doesn't go away ever, because we got to have at least one thing to tie us to that. I understand we got to progress forward. I get it, but we still need something to tie us back to that. So anyway, that's my little rant on.
No, you're right. And that's basically what my video covers. And I would say with Living with the Land and Spaceship Earth are pretty much
that too. Yeah. Spaceship Earth.
And I guess a couple of different Circle Vision formats in the World Showcase, we could argue, are all that's left, really.
Yeah.
Because Test Track to me isn't, Mission Space isn't. They say Guardians is going to try to keep some type of thing with the Universe of Energy. Universe of Energy. We'll see.
I have hope.
And I guess the Imagination Pavilion a little bit. But anyway, I want to take a break. Before I take a break, I would love it if Grady would play us Listen to the Land.
Absolutely. Just make believe you're a tiny little seed, a Tiny little seed that's reaching up to meet your need with the right amount of faith and the right amount of earth. Grow to see the sunshine on your day of birth. Just listen to the land we all love. Nature's plan will shine above. Listen to the land. Let's listen to the land. Just listen to the land we all love. Nature's plan will shine above. Listen to the land. Let's listen to the land. When springtime comes, how can you tell? Air is always filled with orange blossom smell. Come summertime, the warmest sun shines, and the world is full of flowers and good melon rinds. Let's listen to the land we all love. Nature's plan will shine above. Listen to the land. Let's listen to the land. Let's listen to the land we all love. Nature's plan will shine above. Listen to the land. Let's listen to the land. When autumn falls, it's a harvest show. The north wind's blowing all the seeds that it must sow. Come winter time, the rain must fall, till once again the new year and the springtime call. Let's listen to the land we all love. Nature's plan will shine above. Listen to the land. Let's listen to the land. Let's listen to the land we all love. Nature's plan will shine above. Listen to the land. Let's listen to the land. The seasons come and the seasons go. Nature knows everything that it must know. The earth and man can be good friends. Let's listen so our harvest time will never end. Let's listen to the land we all love. Nature's plan will shine above. Listen to the land. Let's listen to the land. Let's listen to the land we all love. Nature's plan will shine above. Listen to the land. Let's listen to the land.
What's up, guys? It's Tim. Just here to remind you to check out our new website, quickdiztakes.com. We cover everything Disney, from our newest videos to our newest podcast, blog posts by contributors, and much more. And while you're there, do not forget to subscribe for the latest notifications on when new blog posts are posted and new videos go up. Of course, check out our YouTube page, Quick Diz Takes, and our Facebook page, Quick Diz Takes, along with Twitter at Quick Diz Takes for me and at Palm Tree Skook for Sarah, Instagram at Quick Diz Takes Tim and at Quick Diz Skook. And of course, if you like this, please like, share, and subscribe with friends. Thanks for listening, and now back to the show. Very good. I love it.
It's a good one, man.
It is. It really is. You know,
it's a great song. And I just want to mention again that Bob Moline is the guy who wrote that song, who sometimes doesn't get as much recognition as some of the other folks who penned some of the classics. And he had a big part in early Epcot Center with different attractions, and obviously that one's probably the most known.
Yeah, what other ones did he do? I seen a video on him, and I'm not as familiar as you are, of course.
He did Feel the Flow from Universal Energy.
I was going to say, I thought it was Universal Energy.
And also both songs from that one. So there was Feel the Flow, and then Energy, You Make the World Go Round. And then he also, I believe, I may be wrong about this, but there's an attraction that used to be in the Magic Kingdom called the Delta Dream Flight. Some folks say that he wrote it, and then other folks say that Buddy Baker wrote it. But I think it's been confirmed that Bob Moline wrote that one. Buddy Baker did write the attraction that was before that, If You Had Wings. So I think there's some confusion there. But anyway, I think he contributed to that song as well. Yeah.
Yeah. So if you went to Disney at the right time in history, Lean had quite a
Oh yeah,
footprint on the parks.
quite a footprint. Yep,
You know,
absolutely.
you know, and the Sherman brothers did too, of course, but
Yeah,
they're much better known, of course,
absolutely.
but that's mostly because they also had a lot of popular music in the movies and cartoons and
Oh
things like
yeah,
that. So when you pick your songs, Grady, you basically just kind of go in with what you like,
right.
correct? Or do you just, are
Yeah.
you kind of just trying to work?
Yeah, when I started out,
Okay.
yeah, so sometimes it can be honestly, I wish there was a more scientific process to it. But when I, first of all, I mean, the first song I knew I was going to do would be One Little Spark, just because I love that song, and that
Yep.
had such an impact on me as a kid. But really, it's just like, okay, what do I like? When I started and still try, I usually want it to have a tie to the parks. That's not always the case. I'll veer off of that at times, but I definitely want it to have a tie to the park and then be something that I love or something that I've discovered and didn't know about and love. So that's typically how I kind of do it. During COVID and during the lockdown or whatever you want to call it last summer, I started posting on Twitter pretty much every day or every other day. I'm just real fast. I would say I'm gonna do XYZ song, and I would just look up the lyrics, go sit on the porch, and like throw it together, learn it in like 5 minutes, and then play it. And so that was a little less scientific than the way I do it for a song on YouTube, but people really seem to love that because it was just so raw and genuine and just songs they love. So yeah, anyway, that's a long answer, but I definitely wanted to tie to the parks or just be something that I really love. When I started posting songs on Twitter and Instagram, and the time was limited, so they were always short, so it was just fast and quick. I got away from posting on YouTube. I mean, I have not posted much on there, which YouTube gives me a longer format to really work on a song and try to make it, I don't know. I'm trying to work on audio and all those things and make it sound better, but people seem to really just love just throwing it out there raw. And folks will send me messages and, say, please play this song or please play this song. And some of them are songs I've never even heard of. And I'm like, oh my gosh, what is this song? And so then I'll go look at it and I'll go, oh my gosh, I can't believe I didn't know this. I can't believe I missed this all these years. I'm definitely going to look into that. So that's been a blast too, is just having feedback and requests and stuff like that.
So let's talk a little bit about Journey into Your Imagination. So would you say was the attraction one of your favorites as well, or just the song, or?
Yeah, yeah. So, we're the same age, 1980. I mean, I think our first trip was when I was like 3 or something. So,
Wow.
I don't remember that, but
No.
But was going during that time when Epcot was, I mean, 82, I guess, is when Epcot came out. So, just going when it was growing and things were being added and the Imagination Pavilion wasn't an original opening day. Well, maybe the pavilion was there, but the attraction wasn't. I'm not sure. I don't even think the pavilion was there. I think they were still working on it when it opened, but I'm getting sidetracked. Anyway, I loved the whole pavilion just because, I mean, when you're a kid, like, the characters are everything. And then to walk into this place where, you're seeing all these things that are, because Epcot, you really did used to be about all the future and all these things that seem so amazing because you don't see them anywhere unless you went to somewhere like that to experience them. And then you go into this place where it's all about the imagination, and you've got this Dreamfinder character who, God, I wish he was still around because just so engaging and in terms of like engaging with kids. And then he's got Figment on his arm, and it's just all this hyper oversensitive, like your senses are all being used. And so anyway, I loved it. I loved the attraction. And the song One Little Spark, when it came to that attraction, was so vital because you've got these two characters that are not traditional Disney characters. They're not Mickey, they're not Pluto or whatever. It's the Dreamfinder and Figment, and nobody knows who they are. There's no internet, so your first experience is walking in and seeing them. And so this song, when you get on that attraction, is the first thing you hear, and they're singing it. It helps engage them with the audience, and then all of a sudden they're legit in the audience's mind. They're connecting to them, and it's like, oh, these two folks, this Dreamfinder and this little cute little dragon, are now going to take me on this journey, and I'm bought in, and it's all because of the song. I mean, how else do you introduce two brand new characters within a 3-minute span other than music? And so that's a long answer, but I think that's what they were trying to accomplish, and they just knocked it apart.
So I went there in '89. My next trip to a Disney park was Disneyland in '94.
Oh wow.
And then I didn't return. Trust me, I'm going somewhere, I promise. I didn't return to Disney World until 2000. And I get there and I ride Journey into Imagination, that the iteration that lasted, I believe, a year between the old one and the one we have now. And I'll never forget getting off that and going, what just happened?
Yeah. Yeah. That's crazy. I never rode that middle one that the short span one. I never got to ride that one, but I did ride the current one, which is still, I mean, nothing. It's not similar at all, really, to the old one, other than Figment being around.
It could be worse, I guess, but it's not. Yeah.
Yeah. I guess it could be. I mean, it's funny. Not to get too sidetracked, but I do think that nowadays the guests are not given enough credit for having an imagination. Like, give us some credit. If you introduce us to something, we can embrace it. You know what I mean? We don't have to have the thing from the movie. I mean, I'm not against IP in any way. I mean, I get it. It's been happening since day one in Disneyland, but something like the Dreamfinder Figment, it's like they really trusted the guests to buy into it, So, but yeah, I mean, Figment is just as popular today as he was then. I mean, he's all over the place. So it's another testament to how long-standing that action and song could be.
I think honestly, other than people that just come to Disney for their first time and stuff and do every attraction they can, I think with the general Disney fan base, the reoccurring fan base, I think that ride only survives because Figment's in it and the song still goes on. I think the rest of it is
right.
Yeah, most people think I hate to say it, but it's just kind of meh.
True,
but I do think that we will get a better iteration of it in time. They, like you just said, they have to listen. Like, they have to be listening to what the fan base, like, they know.
Yeah.
What people want,
Right. Totally. I whatever happens, we'll always have the song and we'll always have the memories. Let's put it that way.
Exactly. So if you don't mind,
Grady,
I would love to hear
One Little
Spark.
Let's do it. One little spark of inspiration is at the heart of all creation, right at the start of everything that's new. One little spark lights up in you. Two tiny wings, eyes big and yellow, horns of a steer. What a lovable fellow. From head to tail, he's royal purple pigment. And then voila, you've got a figment. Imagination. A dream can be a dream come true. One little spark in me and you. We all have sparks, imaginations. That's how our minds create creations, for they can make your wildest dreams come true. Those little sparks in me and you. Imagination, imagination. A dream can be a dream come true. with just that spark in me and you.
Love that song.
It's funny, we're talking about all the scenes in that original attraction. You probably could have had an acoustic scene because that's definitely as mellow as that song has ever been. Has ever been.
I like
It's
it.
definitely a more upbeat song.
I think when you hear a song acoustically, you get more of the essence of the song in a sense. You get, I mean, obviously, really, right? Like you're getting
Yeah,
its rawest form, and you get to really hear the words and
sure,
understand what it's about. Where you might like the song, but you may not have gotten everything out of it just
totally,
lisping through the attraction. You know what I mean?
totally. I mean, when that's a Sherman Brothers song, obviously, and when I'm sure when they were said, hey, we need this song. It's going to introduce these characters. They sat down at the piano, which is another acoustic way of playing a song, and they sat down and wrote it. That's how it starts. It starts with either just a guitar or piano or something real simple like that before it has all the things that it has. So totally, it's stripped down. You really hear kind of what the original lyricist and songwriters kind of intended, for sure.
Yep. All right. So I have to ask: is there an attraction song, or a Disney song in general, probably an attraction one, if there's one that you love and you haven't covered yet, like plans,
wow.
in other words, for?
Yes,
Okay.
definitely. There's several. I mean, that's a tough one because there's several. I mean, I really, I love Tomorrow's Child from Spaceship Earth, the original
wow.
song. But
Yeah.
that's just, I mean,
That's funny you brought that up.
oh yeah,
Because, well, the reason why I say that is because I was kind of aware of it, but like wasn't like it was in my memory somewhere. And then
Right.
I watched the evolution of Spaceship Earth on Yesterworld, which is another great channel if you like Disney and old attractions.
yeah,
And they had showed that song, and I was like,
yeah.
okay, I kind of remember that. And it's the
Yeah.
first time it even passed through my memory in forever. And then you say it right now. So
That's cool though. That's exactly what we've been talking about. These songs will
Yeah.
just be like, oh my God, all of a sudden I remember this whole thing.
mhm.
Yeah, it's a great song. It's definitely, I'm probably making it harder than it is. It seems challenging to try to figure out how to do it. Just super simple on the guitar. I'm probably overthinking it, but I've sat down and tried to do it a couple of times and just haven't had the patience to just flesh it out. That one and the song from Horizons, the New Horizons song, I think would be fun. Those songs were presented with orchestrations and different keys, changes and stuff, and there's a lot going on in those, but I love them and would love to do them. And then I'm sure there's another one I'm not thinking of and I've got some planned. I just need to sit down and do them.
I was just thinking the Spaceship Earth song could definitely use someone's touch like yourself because it's very 80s,
Oh,
right? And I think I would like to hear it a little more.
Yeah. Right.
Not that you would modernize it. I guess you would, but
Yeah. It'd be stripped down a little bit.
Yeah.
I mean, I mean, part of the fun of these songs is that they are very 80s or 60s or whatever era they come from.
Yep.
But it's fun to strip them down and just kind of make them accessible. Totally.
Is it kind of safe to say that one's a little 80s to a fault though, maybe, right? Like
Well,
maybe
definitely,
maybe a little outdated 80s.
It's definitely very, very 80s. Let's put it that way. Yeah.
It's funny because I heard it and I'm like, wow, I love it, but it's
Yeah.
It's 80s. It's like 1982 Epcot,
Yeah. Yeah. It's like, some of a song like that, if it was on the radio and had nothing to do with Disney, would you listen to it? Probably not.
No.
But because you have a memory tied to it or something, it just becomes one of your favorite. And then you start to appreciate the music of it because it really is good. But it probably wouldn't have been something I'd pulled off the shelf, apart from Epcot.
All right. I'm gonna let you go soon. Before I do,
Okay.
I'm springing this, guys. I'm springing this on Grady real time here. Usually I send out an email to my guests asking these questions, but just off the top of your head, your 3 all-time favorite Disney attractions.
Attractions?
Attractions.
Oh my gosh. That's the kind of thing that isn't fair to throw on somebody. Cause,
Yep, I know. I apologize.
So, okay. All right. let me just take a second here. I reserve the right to change this tomorrow. So if anybody calls me tomorrow, it's going to be different.
Yep.
And I listened to a couple of your shows recently. I did listen to the one with Steve, and my man cheated big time. So I'm
He was
not
a
gonna
great
go,
guest, though. Steve was great.
He was awesome. No, I was I'm glad to learn about his podcast with his son, because that's really cool. I'm gonna
It
check
was
it out.
cool, yeah.
But he definitely cheated, which more power to him. I gotta respect it. But so maybe I can cheat a little bit, but I won't go that bad.
I'll tell you what. Steve had a heads up. You didn't.
Okay.
So you get even more of leeway, Steve. Because he really did cheat, boy. When he said he was going to cheat, I was like, wow, you really did.
Did a bunch of, yeah. I really, okay, well, we all love the Haunted Mansion. I mean, it can't be overlooked. I mean, it just, the attraction itself is incredible. Just from when you walk up to it, either version, when you walk up to it, has its appeal from outside. And the story is told the minute you turn the corner in both parks, I mean, something's coming. You see that mansion and you go, okay, something's going on there. I'm not sure what it is yet, but I need to go over there and find out. And if an attraction can do that from the start, then you're on the right track. And then for it to deliver when you walk through the door is the next level, and the Haunted Mansion just ticks all those. I mean, in Walt Disney World, I think the queue is awesome. The new queue is great. And then just the way that they used the tricks and stuff to create the things they do in that attraction. At the time they did it, and they still stand the test of time today without changing the way they do it. I mean, I know they've done some upgrades and things, but for the most part, all those things the Imagineers created back when they did are still going in there, and we're still amazed by them. So I'd put that one up there. I'm not going to number these. I'm just going to say I'll put that one up there.
That's fine.
It's in the top 3. And then the song too. I mean, my gosh, the song is, I mean, I would probably put the Grim Grinning Ghost as the #1 attraction song.
No, have you? I didn't see if you did. You haven't done it yet. Okay.
No, I mean, it's maybe one day, but I definitely think that that's probably the top attraction song in my book. Buddy Baker, Existencio, they just brought the house when they put that in there, and the way that it runs through the whole attraction and starts, in different moods. When you enter the stretching room, you go to the queue, it's different the whole way through, and then by the time you get to the graveyard, it's just in your face. But anyway,
it's really good. Existencio is unbelievable. He does the narration that's written for that ride is him as well. And
I know.
All the wording and everything is just so clever. He's
what a genius, really, when you think about it. So yeah, Haunted Mansion. I would say I would have to put Pirates up there. I mean, it's just you have to, and I think Disneyland Pirates. I've only been to Disneyland once, but I do think it's a little bit superior than. I mean, for me, the Walt Disney World version is the one I know, but having ridden the one at Disneyland, I was just like, wow, I see where they're coming from now. Just going through the caves, and again, the things they did at the time that they built that attraction still hold up today, and it's still beloved, and so yeah, that one's up there. And the song as well, we're talking about music, the song for that one, incredible. Again, Existencio,
that guy
knocking it out of the park. And I'm gonna surprise you and not say Journey into Imagination. You're gonna kill me for this one. I'm gonna say the Carousel Progress, and just let me explain. Okay, some people will say what, and I know it's like, oh, you're just saying that because it's old nostalgic, but I mean, that attraction has a lot of personal memories for me. I have some really great memories with my dad. He loved that attraction, and we would, when we were growing up, it was Now Is the Time was the song. I didn't even know there was a Great Big Beautiful Tomorrow until later. Shame on me, but my dad, we used to just pretend like we were, the guys up there, and we would just laugh about it. And actually, a really funny story about that song is my parents went on their honeymoon to Walt Disney World, and for their 30th anniversary, my sister and I surprised them with a trip for the whole family to go down, and we revealed the surprise by changing the lyrics to Now Is the Time and like acting it out. So I have just a lot of personal memories about that attraction. So it's maybe less about the attraction and just more about personal memories. But even apart from personal memories, Great Big Beautiful Tomorrow, the attraction, you know, being at the World's Fair in '64, and the importance of that event and the attractions that would go from there, be developed there, and go to Disneyland, and then find its way to the Magic Kingdom. I mean, you know, it's been everywhere. It just has such importance for the parks, and gosh, I hope it doesn't go away. I mean, I don't care if they update it or whatever, but they should update it. But I just hope it never goes away.
I've heard people say they think that it needs a whole timeline change as far as maybe boosting up the errors. I don't know if I agree with that.
Yeah.
Maybe 2 of them, or maybe if you change the script, be a little broader in the errors, maybe cover more time per error. Does that make sense?
Right. Yeah, I know what you're saying. Yeah.
But I don't know, man. The turn of the century and the first 3 scenes are just, I like it. I don't know. I know a lot of people do.
Yeah, I mean, it holds a lot of nostalgia, obviously, but again, we mentioned it earlier. It's hard to remember sometimes that the majority of the people that walk through that park are either there for one time, you know, or they don't have no idea what that is. And I get it. If they go in there and they come out and they're like, "What in the world?" They might think it was boring, whatever. So it's hard to remember that. So I definitely think that an update would help, you know, draw in more attention to it, you know, and even, you know, whether you change the timeline or just do something creative with the last scene so that it doesn't have to be changed, you know, I don't know what that would be. But anyway, yeah. And then again, the songs are just Great Big Beautiful Tomorrow is just an amazing song. It's one of my top attraction songs as well. So yeah, I would put those 3. What did I say? Haunted Mansion, Pirates, and Carousel. That's a decent top 3, I guess.
I like it. They should also consider putting Now Is the Time back in for like limited time only type things once in a while.
Fun. That's a great idea.
Yeah, and I know they've done it with Soarin' in California and stuff, where they have like a limited time going back to Soarin' over California. Why not do that? And
alternating times, you know, like alternate the shows with. Well, I guess that would be complicated, but
yeah, I'm not sure how easy that would be to do, but
right.
That also goes back to what I was saying with Figment 2, by the way, where I went in '89 and didn't go back till 2000, and when I got back on that, I was like, hey, what happened to the song I remember? And that song, I remembered that song from just that one trip. It's stuck in my mind.
Yeah.
But yeah, Carousel's great. Before we go, Grady, do you want to talk about or tell everyone where they can find you on YouTube and Twitter and all that kind of stuff?
Yeah, definitely. You can find me on YouTube, Disney Song Blog. I haven't been posting as much there as of recently, but I plan on doing more. The best way to really follow along is either on Instagram, which is Disney Song Blog, or Twitter at Disney Song Blog. I post a lot of short videos on Twitter, and anything that I'm going to put on YouTube, I'll put on there. So that's probably the best place to find me. But yeah, come follow along, and I just love meeting people, interacting, and just seeing what everybody loves. So yeah.
All right.
Appreciate you having me on.
Oh, absolutely. Now I got one last question.
Okay.
Would you play Great Big Beautiful Tomorrow?
Yep. Let me get the key and I can do it. There's a great big beautiful tomorrow shining at the end of every day. There's a great big beautiful tomorrow, and tomorrow's just a dream away. Man has a dream, and that's the start. He follows his dream with mind and heart, and when it becomes a reality, it's a dream come true for you and me. So there's a great big beautiful tomorrow shining at the end of every day. There's a great big beautiful